Hey guys, happy Saturday evening. So I wanted to give you a quick 3-minute update on where I am. Florida unemployment, in case you're not subscribed, do it now. Make sure you're hitting the bell and you're getting that notification when I do new videos. So this last week was an interesting week, and the graphic that I'm going to show you here is pretty much reflective of how I feel that this last week was designed to play out, at least for me. So this last week was a week that many of us who were on unemployment since kind of the onset of the pandemic may have either gotten close or exhausted our weekly benefit amount balance in our Connect portal, right? So we were told initially, go ahead and claim everything, right? And then that was retracted and we were told, no, don't claim everything. At least leave 1 week of weekly benefit amount in your Connect portal, but don't let it exhaust, right? All these things we've got to keep track of in our head. All these things we've got to be juggling and figuring out, because the DEO has designed this to be complicated. This designed it to make it so difficult for us to keep track of this stuff. So in the same week that, so I wasn't able to withdraw both weeks that I was entitled to this week. And that meant that I wasn't receiving the money that I was expecting, and I needed to pay my bills. Instead of getting the $700 that I normally get every other week, I got $350, which meant that I can't pay my rent now. But I digress. Let me talk about what compounds this problem. So when I did certify for that 1 week of benefits instead of the 2, what happened? Boom, I went into ID lock. I'm sorry, but that's coincidental. It really feels like there was a fork in the road, and they designed the system to pretty much say, if this, then that. If this, then that. Because as soon as I claimed that week of benefits, when they knew that many people were, getting close to exhausting. Now, remember, if you had enough for 2 weeks of benefits and you exhausted your 2 weeks of benefits, you're immediately ineligible and exhausted. Or if you had only enough for 1 week of benefits and you exhausted, you're immediately ineligible and exhausted. That's what happened last time. And guess what? That's what has happened this time. We've seen screenshots of people who have exhausted their benefits in spite of the rescue plan rescue package that's extended this out an additional 6 months. It's putting us in a position that we were in before. So we got a heads up. It had changed a couple times, but ultimately we got a heads up. Hey, don't exhaust your balance. Don't let it expire, but don't exhaust. So I didn't exhaust it, but when I did that, interestingly enough, what did it do? ID lock. So it really feels like they knew that enough people are starting to catch on, enough people are starting to be in these groups and get some of the heads up as to what to do, what not to do. And they almost counter-engineered it so that you still couldn't get ahead of the curve, because if you did claim any weeks, they're going to put you into a lock status. That's sure how it felt for me. And this is all happening at a time when 11 weeks after MEUC was rolled out, we haven't been paid a dime. That's now an $1,100 arrearage that the DEO now owes us. I find it really incredible that all of these things have happened, and that at a time when we're already receiving the lowest benefits, if not the lowest benefits in the country, we're getting a weekly benefit amount that has last been negotiated in 1999, the year that Google was founded. They're making us claim sometimes 0 weeks, this last week for some of you guys, 1 week instead of 2, which means that you don't get the benefits that you expected, that you need to pay your bills. And then now they're asking us to apply for MEUC, which is a program that was rolled out nearly 3 months ago, that should have been paid out at $100 a week, that would have offset the lowest benefit amount in the country, that would have offset the fact that, maybe, this week some of us either weren't able to get our full 2 weeks, and some of us maybe got no weeks because we weren't able to claim and we didn't want to exhaust. So now I can't even apply for MEUC until this ID lock is lifted. So I went through the process. I sent my driver's license in. I went through the video chat to do the face recognition. But it's anybody's guess. It sounds like people are saying that process takes about 3 to 5 days. But that's 3 to 5 days in addition to the 3 months that this MEUC was supposed to be helping me out. That $1,100 would help. It would help pay the rent that the week that I couldn't certify for, because they've engineered it to work this way. If you see it as anything other than that, you're just not seeing it for what it is. See, what has happened here is they've programmed their system to not do exactly the same thing to everybody. Because if the same thing was happening to all of us at exactly the same time, we'd all be banding together in this, Facebook group. And if you're not a member of it, you need to hit up the description below. Make sure you find where that description is. I know it's a little different on your desktop versus your laptop or your phone, but there's a lot of links, including the Facebook group that has a lot of help. And if you're not in it, you need to be in it. That's all I got, guys. I was trying to keep this as short as possible. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Please show your support for the channel and for the effort that I put into these videos, because it's really only helpful if enough of you guys see it. And I know that, hey, this is actually having an impact. And more importantly, I hope that this gets, I'm not doing this for fame or notoriety, okay? I mean, it's not really all that sexy to get on camera and talk about being on unemployment, but I have been written up in the Tampa Bay Times. I was on C-SPAN last year. The more publicity this stuff gets, the more people see it, the more people hear about it, I think the greater the chances are that we're going to have some accountability, some transparency. So that's all I got, guys. Have a great evening, have a great weekend, and make sure you subscribe.